Haskell,
What's
thanks so
up?
much for joining me.
Thanks for
This
having me.
episode, Enter the Unknown. We're here at my house going lakeside. It's
Yeah,
kind of nice to be by the water and enjoying nature a little bit because
great
talk
spot.
about all things woods and all
Yeah,
things hunting.
I
And,
hope so.
you and I got connected through OMM Outfitters. So shout out to Nathan Terrio and
Yeah,
the whole gang up there at OMM.
cool. Grew
We
up
didn't actually
there.
hunt together, but we got to share some time at the camp and share some stories and
Yep.
talk about all things moose hunting over the last few seasons. But you have your own gig, which I'm excited to hear all about, which is the Pursuit Hunt,
Yes.
which I only know as like a YouTube channel. There's a lot more to it. So tell me about the Pursuit Hunt.
Yeah. So, I guess it's considered my outdoor brand, and it's based out of Maine, but it started with a YouTube channel, and it started as 207 Pursuit,
Okay.
207, the area code for Maine,
Yeah.
when I was younger, and so really, I just started filming my hunts to share with family and friends. And then over time, it started to grow some, and now I've created like a brand out of it
Mhm.
that I call the Pursuit Hunt. And so I share my hunts on YouTube and social media. I've got some merchandise, and then I also use it as a way to promote work for other companies,
Mhm.
freelance work I do. So OMM's a great example of that.
Yeah.
They were able to see my work that I did on my personal channel,
Mhm.
and then they asked me if I
Yeah.
could film hunts for them,
Well,
and so that's been a huge help,
mhm.
and a way to help make a little money at it while I'm doing it as a passion.
Yeah.
um but yeah, it's just my YouTube channel,
Yeah.
as most people know it.
Mhm.
You can see full length hunts on there, and then yeah, and then beyond that, it's just like an outdoor brand, which I try and keep based here in the Northeast, but I've
Yeah.
started to do hunts elsewhere,
Yeah.
and just grow and bring others out hunting. That's a big goal of mine, and also getting youth involved is like one of my biggest um, goals.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
so yeah,
As like a bit of community outreach and like
yeah, that's
taking kids
yeah,
at volunteer
totally.
capacity.
Yeah, that's really what I try to do. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, a lot of it's volunteering and fundraisers sometimes.
Yeah.
Really, I try and use the page that I've created to, help promote it to the youth.
Mhm.
And yeah, hope it's doing something. Hope
Yeah.
it's inspiring some younger people.
Yeah.
Which I've been able to see some of the impact, like not too long ago, it was Youth Day for turkey season.
That's right. Yeah.
I took a youth hunter out, and he tagged out, and that hunt's on video, and it was an incredible morning. And since that day, he's been wanting to follow me around through the woods and learn how to film his hunts. And
Oh, follow in your
and
footsteps in a way.
yeah,
Yeah.
and no one in his family hunts, but
Oh, yeah.
they're starting to enjoy it, and they're starting to eat wild game, which they never did before.
Oh, awesome.
And like for me, that's what it's all about,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So yeah,
Food on the table.
yeah,
That's
totally.
good work, man. It's God's work.
Thank you.
Yeah. That's
No, thank
awesome.
you.
I really, I love the brand.
Thank
I
you.
love the name
Yeah.
pursuit just as a word and kind of like what that evokes in the mind
Yep.
about like the chase and the desire and the adventure and
Yep.
engaging into flow. And I know that you're really passionate about a lot of the work that you do. And I'm curious what came first, like the videography or the hunting? Like, did you have a background in production or something? Like, why?
No. Yeah, so it's funny you say that, because a lot of it was self-taught with the filming aspect.
Mhm,
I was raised in a hunting, like outdoorsy family.
mhm.
No one's as passionate about it as I am,
Yes.
but I grew up, I'd go out with my parents, or even my grandparents, hunting. My grandfathers are both into hunting, and so they take me out before I could even handle a gun.
Awesome.
And so I was raised in that world, and that got me hooked on it.
Mhm.
And then um, where I'm at now, I've just kind of taken it to the next level.
Yeah.
But with filming,
Mhm.
I grew up with just a small camcorder.
Mhm.
And then I think because I was able to combine hunting and filming, it really it really gave me that desire
Mm-hmm.
to go out and do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just kind of started to self-teach myself how to film and even how to edit. And then once YouTube really became a thing, that really helped because I
Yeah.
used that as a way to watch, videos, how-to videos,
Yeah.
and that was huge. And then, and not to go down a rabbit hole, but not too long ago,
We're hunting, man. Let's
I
go down all the rabbit
yeah,
holes. Let's
totally.
get 'em.
I want to get back to the brand too, but so a couple years ago, I worked for a company called Origin.
Mm-hmm.
And Origin USA. It's a clothing company. They're actually based out of Farmington, Maine,
Okay.
and they make all sorts of menswear.
Mm-hmm.
And they were getting into hunting clothing,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's where I started to follow them
Mm-hmm.
and their mission, and what they're trying to do is bring back American manufacturing.
Oh, that's great.
And I had some mutual friends within the company,
Mm-hmm.
and they were seeing what I was doing with my personal channel
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and brand. And um, one of my buddies, Ian Dow, who worked at the company at the time, he asked if I wanted to work there. He
Mm-hmm.
gave me a job opportunity, and so I took a role as a content creator at Origin.
Mm-hmm.
Worked in the media department, and that really helped fast track my skills.
Yeah.
I give them a lot of credit for that. I worked there for a year, and um, really, I was just in a spot in my life where it wasn't the time where I wanted to make it a career.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, anyways, I learned a lot about editing and different cameras and all of that, everything that goes into filmmaking.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was huge working for them. And then, I took that and used it for my personal
Great.
channel and
Yeah.
personal videos. And
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah, so that played a big part in it. But before that, a lot of it was just self-taught. And I think, um, I believe I'm a creative, artistic person, which helps
Yeah,
with
definitely.
that.
Yeah.
Like even like these paintings over there, like I'm sure she could pick up a camera
Yeah.
and kind of understand, what looks right, what
Yeah.
feels right. And so,
Mm-hmm.
I just love being creative with that. And I always
Absolutely.
have a vision,
Mhm.
which helps to do what I do. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh, the vision is key.
Yeah,
So what an incredible platform you had to kind of catapult your professional career,
exactly.
working with Origin, getting some really good on the job training.
Yes, exactly.
And Origin, it's like ringing a bell for me. I know there's another there's a company, Jocko Willink.
That's it.
It's his Origin
Yes.
is Jocko Willink's
Yeah.
company. Oh,
So
amazing.
Jocko Fuel
Yeah.
and Origin are sister companies.
Got it.
Yeah.
Very
That's how I should explain it, because
Yeah.
that's who everyone knows is Jocko Willink,
right.
which he was a huge reason why
Right.
they've become such a well-known company.
Yeah.
Um,
Connect the dots. It rang a bell.
yeah.
His
Yeah. So Pete,
manufacturing's in Maine as well.
yeah.
Very cool.
So-
Shout out to Maine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of the manufacturing for their footwear, sorry. Their footwear,
We got the
and yeah, and some of their athletic clothing is made in Maine.
awesome.
And yeah, so it was really cool. I actually followed that company because of the hunt line, but because of Jocko Fuel. I had some friends at school that were drinking it and
Yeah.
and following along, and
yeah.
so they got me interested in it. And
Very cool.
so
Yeah.
same companies.
Yeah. So
But
you launched the brand
yep.
and you got your guide's license now. So you're hoping
Yes.
guiding some hunts.
I think so. A lot of the reason I got it was for the credibility and the knowledge.
Right.
And then down the road to hopefully guide hunts.
Mhm.
But yeah, the brand I started back when I was real young. I actually released my first hunt in 2019, and
A fully edited
yeah, like a fully edited hunt.
documentary style.
Yeah, not not at the level it is now,
Yeah.
but with my old camcorder
Yeah.
that I just
So,
mounted to a
FPV,
tree. Yeah,
Adele kinda
exactly.
stuff?
Yes, exactly. Like a $400 camcorder
Yeah.
that my parents got me, and so
Awesome.
and yeah, and then so it started as 207 Pursuit. Before that, it was Haskell Outdoors, but that that didn't last very long, and then it became 207 Pursuit,
Uh-huh.
and then the Pursuit because I wanted to broaden it,
Yeah.
to be able to reach,
Yeah.
outside of Maine.
Mhm, mhm.
And yeah, and then obviously Pursuit, like you said, that word just defines it
Yeah.
to like perfectly.
Yeah, absolutely.
I use that word all the time while I'm hunting,
Yeah.
and it just means so much.
Mhm.
And then my logo, um, which you may have seen,
Yeah, I love it. The
is
mountain range,
yeah,
the antler intertwined
yep,
to it.
yep. So it's an outline of Mount Katahdin, which is, as you may know, like, you know, uh, the largest mountain in Maine,
Oh, yeah.
very well known.
Yeah.
And so
Scott word means the greatest mountain.
there it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I took the outline of that mountain and then I threw the antler in, and it also kind of represents, valleys or ridges in
Mhm,
the mountain. So
mhm.
it took a lot of time to come up with something like that, but when it happened, I was just so pumped.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I haven't changed it since then.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's times where I think about it, but it's an original logo for me, and
Mhm, mhm.
it's very fitting. So
It's really clean, aesthetic,
thank you.
black and white, and just the word again. I just want to keep coming back to that because for
Yeah.
me, when I think about hunting, it's so much more. This is the cliche, right?
Yes.
And like
But I
making a harvest and
Yep,
killing the animal, and what is it all about, right?
exactly.
Journey, not the destination. And when you're hunting, it's the pursuit.
Yeah,
It's you're trying to get the
exactly.
animal, you're trying to get to the place, you're trying to find the thing, but that thing you're trying to find so often can be much greater and maybe like a very, philosophical way. And like
Mhm.
you're trying to find yourself or you're trying to find oneness
100%.
with nature, or you're trying to find peace or meditation or relaxation or like, connecting to yourself through nature. There's so
Yes.
many levels of that that like
It's amazing. Yeah.
whether you have that intent going out to hunt or not, you inevitably find that.
Yes.
And like finding the thing that you're not looking for, that's like the magic of the pursuit,
Exactly.
right? It's like
Yeah,
you never
I
know
love
what's
that.
gonna happen. You never know what you're gonna see, what you're gonna feel, what you're gonna hear.
Yep.
Are you gonna tag out in the first hour of the first day?
Right.
Or are you gonna hike 100 miles through the woods and not get anything?
Yeah.
Either way, it's still
Well,
a pursuit.
yeah, and like a perfect example of that is Mother's Day was on Sunday. On Saturday, I took my mom out turkey hunting,
Oh, awesome.
and I roosted a bird the night before. I had a perfect setup for us, and we got out there bright and early, and there was actually frost that morning. So as the sun rose, like you could see the frost on the grass, and
Yeah.
it was just incredible morning. It was
Dazzling,
cold, but
sparkle.
yeah, it was amazing. And
Mhm,
the tom flew down out of the tree,
mhm.
and just outside of range, he did that, he was strutting
Yeah.
and he did that
Beautiful little.
presentation for us. And then he came in to the decoy and did it like he read the script, like
Yeah.
he did it just as planned.
Flawless. Yeah.
And
Right in.
my mom wasn't quite comfortable with the gun I gave her to use,
Mhm.
and she had a hard time finding the safety, and then she rushed the shot and missed him. And she was pretty upset in the moment,
Mhm.
but I was still smiling at that hunt we had,
Yeah.
that experience we just had.
Yeah, of course.
And what I explained to her is like that was a win
Mhm.
because the Tom did exactly what we wanted
Yeah.
him to do.
Yeah.
You might have missed,
Mhm.
but that's only a small part of it.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's about the experience
Mhm.
and the trials and tribulations, and
Yeah.
and you've got to have those failures, so when she is successful
Mhm.
it means that
That
much
much
more.
more. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that right there is like part of the pursuit.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
my slogan with the pursuit is the
Mhm.
pursuit never ends,
Oh, I love that.
because whether you miss
Mhm.
or you harvest something,
Mhm.
you move on to the next
Yeah, what's next?
you move on to the next thing. Yeah.
Next season, next
So
animal, next location.
exactly. And that's with anything like hiking or
Mhm.
any outdoor activity.
Yeah, of course.
So
Go summit the next mountain.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I really liked connecting that
Mhm.
to what I do with it.
Mhm.
At first, like, it was just the name sounded cool,
Yeah.
and then but I didn't realize really what it meant.
Mhm.
And now whenever I'm creating something, I think about what it means
Yeah.
when I lay out a film or
Yeah.
whatever I'm making. Yeah.
Oh, that's
So
great. It's like a real mission.
Yes,
behind the brand. It's not just
exactly.
word.
Yeah, and that's important for me now because I think that's what helps build a brand
Absolutely.
and helps people to helps people to trust the brand
Yeah.
is having that. So
Yeah.
so that's been a huge
So much more than
goal of mine.
word or
Exactly.
logo.
Yeah.
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 It's, you're not
But yeah.
whitetailOutfitters.com. It's
Yeah.
got some depth to it.
Yeah.
Man, I really appreciate it. I like it a lot.
So yeah.
That chase has so many levels to it in
Mhm.
life. We're all chasing something.
Mhm.
We're chasing some version of financial freedom, or chasing a better version of ourselves, or
Yeah.
chasing the next level of a relationship or something. And I myself find to be caught up in chasing too many things
Yeah. Yeah.
sometimes.
I'm guilty of that
Um,
too.
but at the same time, I think it's really important to have those, objective desires and those goals and those things
Mhm.
you're chasing after, and your individual pursuits that
Yeah.
are a lot. And you had told me that you're training for a marathon.
Yes.
Runner. Tell me a little bit
Yeah.
about, becoming a runner and training for a marathon. What you get from
Yeah. So I've always ran kind of just to stay in shape
Mhm.
and stay conditioned because I hunt, so it's a lot of movement. It's
Yeah, a lot of cardio.
a lot of cardio, exactly. And then I did a half marathon when I worked for Origin. There was like
Okay.
there was a internally marathon going on, and me being competitive and not having a lot of background in running long distance, I just wanted to see how I could hold up to
Yeah.
my coworkers.
Yeah, I
And
bet. I bet.
so I did a half marathon and
And they crushed you.
and
Crushed them. What happened? How'd you do?
honestly, I did really well. And
Yeah.
I think I have the physique for running, the
Yeah.
build for it.
Yeah.
And I just,
Slender.
and I just never, I never really put any effort into it.
Mhm.
And then this marathon came up, the Sugarloaf Marathon,
Oh, okay.
and I was running, quite a bit. And my girlfriend Rosie had just gotten into running, and just like for the same purpose, just because of the cardio, and she's
Mhm.
ski races, so
Mhm.
that's important for endurance.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then we just decided to sign up for this marathon, and had to pay for it, so it
Yeah.
hold us
Yeah,
accountable.
you're committed.
Yeah, exactly. So, and honestly, I was training pretty hard for a while. I've been slacking because of turkey season, but I find running for me is like um it's so important
Mhm.
for me, like
Mhm.
the mental clarity with
Yes.
it. I don't get that from going and lifting weights. I
Yeah.
feel like you can still think about everything stressful in your life.
Mhm.
When you run, you have to focus on
Yeah.
your run, especially long distance. So I've just found so many benefits
Mhm.
because of it. And so that's where, signing up for this marathon has truly changed a lot for me.
Yeah.
Which I didn't expect. It was more so just the competitiveness in me was like, I want to do a marathon.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, it's had
Peel
some
back some
huge
layers of the
benefits.
onion for
Yeah,
yourself.
exactly.
Like, what else is going on behind the curtain? I need to
Yeah, yeah,
my mental game a little
totally.
bit. I
Yeah,
change my daily lifestyle a
yep,
little bit. So you said it's the Sugarloaf Marathon's the Sugarloaf Ski Resort in Maine.
yes.
Tell me a little bit more about that. Is it up in the Carrabassett Valley?
Yeah, it's from Eustis to the Sugarloaf Mountain. It's
Yeah.
a very hilly run.
Cool.
Um,
That is.
it's like, from what I hear, the first 10 miles are just brutal, a
Yeah.
lot of uphill.
Mhm.
And then the next 10 miles, you're kind of coasting downhill. And then the last six, it's like you're just, it's all mental. It's
Yeah.
just, you got to get through it.
Yeah, you got to
Because at that point, you've done so many miles.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm pumped for it. I've been staying, and maybe running so often is helping me keep the mentality of just, staying pretty confident.
Yep.
But yeah, we've got a group of us doing it too, which, so my girlfriend signed up. Um, she's never really been a big runner, but this has obviously changed that in a way. And then we have some other friends of ours that are doing it as well.
That's
But
great to have a posse. You got some
yeah,
camaraderie
exactly.
going on.
Yep.
Like in it alone.
Yeah, exactly. And we've got a group chat where we share our runs,
Yeah.
and every time we go for a run, we'll share it and
Yeah.
do group runs, and
Yeah. Get everybody
I'll
inspired
stay the
along.
same pace. Yeah, exactly. So
Mhm.
that's been huge too, just the connection
Mhm.
through that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it's something new for me, and honestly, y'all see after the marathon
You
where,
want to do it
you
again?
know, what it what it
Could
takes.
be one and done,
Exactly.
or you never know.
It could change my life. It could, exactly. But
A lot of people do. All of a sudden, I'll talk to you in a couple of years and be doing ultras.
yeah, you never know.
100K.
Yeah, I hope not, but no,
Yeah.
I mean, like, I love hiking. I do a lot of hiking, and then obviously with hunting, hiking's just a part of that. And yeah, but running, it's never been a huge passion of mine, but just
That's the
something.
thing.
I think it's just something that, it helps keep me accountable.
Yeah.
And like I said, the mental benefits from it,
Yeah.
and
You
just
look like a
being able to thank you.
You look like a runner.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
Yeah.
But no, it's like, I think, going out for a run is just helps with, like, just helping me debrief
Absolutely.
after the day,
Yeah.
and even come up with ideas.
Mhm.
And a lot of that happens when I run. So
Mhm. It's a good
yeah, I
place
don't
to
know.
be with yourself.
Yeah,
Have
totally.
that reflection.
Yeah, and just the struggle too, having to be disciplined enough to, like,
Yeah.
if I say I'm gonna do a 6 mile run, do a 6 mile run, not, not get tired and
Yeah.
turn around. But
Yeah. You're only cheating yourself. You're only lying to
exactly.
yourself if you
Yep.
don't.
Yep.
Yeah. I think that mental benefit is so versatile
Mhm.
and what you can gain from it, whether it's that time to yourself to
Yeah.
reflectively think, mull over some problems or tasks that you have in your life, or,
Yeah.
plan goals for the future,
Totally.
but also simultaneously you can get that like meditative flow state,
Yeah.
which is something I personally love. I'm always curious to hear about people's, ability to get into that flow
Mhm.
state. As you mentioned, where you can just kind of like zone out while focusing on the same time.
Yeah. And
It takes
yeah.
that serious amount of attention, especially once you get into, I used to always call it the pain cave.
Yeah.
And it's like to
Exactly.
a certain point, and it's like it just hurts so bad.
Yeah.
Your
It's
legs
the
hurt,
same thing.
your lungs hurt, and your brain is like, stop, stop, stop what you're doing. I
Yep.
can't go any further. And you have to flip a switch. And even finding the switch, you don't even know you have that switch.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
start running and pushing yourself.
Totally.
That like, oh no, I can go further.
Yeah.
Actually,
It's true.
I saw something once, and it was along the lines of like, most humans, the average person will only push themselves to about 65% of their actual physical capability.
I've heard that. Yeah.
Like most people will quit well beyond their actual like physical ability.
Yeah.
And then you get the crazy David Goggins of the
Yeah.
world or whatever, just like
Which,
go hard, and
yeah.
like running through broken legs and like all
He
this sadness.
overcorrected.
Yeah, exactly. He's on the other end of that spectrum.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so like the mental space of the run, whether you're in flow state or focusing on something in your life, is so beneficial and feels so good. And you could take those skills that you've learned and gained and then adapt them into like your hunt,
Yeah.
your
Or,
business,
or,
your
and I
life.
was going to say editing.
Yeah.
Getting into a flow state editing is crucial,
Yeah.
or like it's the most draining thing ever,
Mhm.
which is part of the reason I left Origin. It was 5 days a week.
Mhm.
We were in an office,
Yeah.
and that's really tough to stay in a flow state and do that constantly. And so, now that I have the freedom to use my own creative mind and do
Yeah.
it when I feel like I'm in that state.
Mhm.
And I think running before I sit down to edit
Mhm.
helps a lot.
Yeah.
Because if I'm anxious and I feel like I haven't exercised and I go to try and edit, it's
Yeah.
just not
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. You get that
So yeah,
post endorphin high,
yeah,
settle, little more like adrenal fatigue going on.
exactly.
Probably. There's another thing. It was like, I don't know if you wrote an episode about how you can retain more information or you have a better memory after exercising as
Oh,
well.
I'm sure.
And
I'm
so like
sure.
getting into that state, it's like, okay, I need to sit in front of the computer and hammer out this task for the next 2 to 4 hours,
Yeah.
whatever it may
Yeah.
be. And if I go get a good sweat, get the heart rate ramped up, push myself, really challenge myself
Exactly.
physically,
Yep.
I can have the wherewithal to sit through mentally and like deal with
That
this.
is like, yeah, that's exactly
definitely.
how it is. Yeah.
It's-
Yeah. So that's where, like, when you said that all those different things connect with one another, like
Mhm.
running and then editing or even hunting,
Mhm.
they all intertwine with one another.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think another piece of it too for me is I've always been so passionate about hunting,
Mhm.
and people know that about me.
Mhm.
And outside of that,
Mhm.
there's not really any other um there's not really anything else I sign up for,
Yeah.
basically,
Yeah.
is a good way to put it. And
Yeah.
so having this commitment, it just, it's something else to prove to myself, I guess, and just
Mhm.
show that there's other goals I have and other challenges I want to overcome. And,
Yeah.
and,
Right.
I can become very comfortable with hunting at times
Mhm.
where it's like I need a little something that
Right.
challenges me. And so this run is part of that. And then at the same time, it's like when I go back to inspiring other people with my brand, I, I don't include the running very often, but once in a while I'll share, that I'm doing a marathon and share some of my runs.
Yeah.
And then I hope that also inspires, younger people to want to stay in shape or
Yeah.
want to get out there and do
Absolutely.
something like that. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I had a really biased perspective of hunting.
Hmm.
I didn't know any hunters growing up. I didn't come from a hunting family. And, there were some people like in my sphere, like adults and teachers, maybe, and some relatives certainly who like poo-pooed hunting.
Yeah.
That like hunting is like this redneck sport that only like, fat old dudes do, and they're just drinking
Yeah.
beer and driving around their truck and like killing things and shooting things. And that was the, like realm of hunting reality for me
Yeah. That's
for,
what,
for a long time.
yeah.
And then I was vegan for a long time. It was like,
Wow.
I'm not
Interesting.
necessarily like anti-killing animals, but like thinking that it had a much bigger impact on the planet
Yeah.
than it really does, is what I thought at the time.
Yeah.
Now, on the other end of the spectrum, I'm a big game hunter and have gone the carnivore diet,
Yeah.
these kinds of things. But what is saying all that is that hunters actually, unbeknownst to most, are like typically very healthy, active
Oh, yeah.
people. And there,
100%.
there are some types of hunting, where you're going to sit in a tree stand and not really move,
Yeah.
not really do anything. It's
Yeah.
not super athletic.
Or you'll get that
And
occasional redneck, up north who is drinking beer and riding around in
that
the
is a
truck,
thing.
but
Those people
that
do
is a real
exist.
thing.
Those people do
But
exist.
no, yeah, and
Being able to show kids that, I think, is really important
totally.
too,
Yeah.
because I felt almost cheated in a way.
Mhm.
I lived out in Colorado for a long time, and I started to learn about archery hunting and
Mhm.
hunting elk in Colorado and how difficult it is
Yeah.
and how really in shape you have to
How
be
humbling it is.
and how in
Yeah.
tune with nature you have to be and all these skills and all this knowledge that goes with it. And it's not an easy thing mentally and physically, and not something I ever thought was the reality of hunting growing up.
Mhm.
So being able to share that with kids, I think it's like a really
Huge.
beautiful
Yeah.
thing to help people kind of widen their perspective and let them see that it's like, that not just this
Totally.
tight,
Yeah.
like crazy MAGA people
Yeah.
or whatever.
I think that, yeah, and I think that's the trouble is hunting does get that poor perception
Gets better at,
sometimes.
gets better at.
We're lucky in Maine where we have such a deep hunting heritage
Mm-hmm.
that that I've even heard that we have years where the amount of licenses bought goes up
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
recently.
Yep.
And that's really cool for me, like
Mhm.
knowing that. But I've been in that industry, and
Mhm.
so I know that perception of it. But for someone like you who, you had people in your life who were loo looking down on it,
Oh,
and
yeah. Big
yeah,
time.
and,
Big
just,
time.
um and a lot of people have those same experiences, I feel like, in outside of Maine, and, and there's certain groups of people who are very against it, but I also think when you don't give something a chance and you don't do it for yourself, like when you just had someone else's perspective of it,
Mhm.
and you just follow what they say,
Yep.
is the right thing. I think once people, and like taking that youth hunter out on youth day where his family has never been into hunting and he was the one who wanted to try it. Like my mom and I would take him when he was younger fishing, and then and then um he saw that I was into hunting and used me as a role model for that, and then he got inspired to try it himself, and now he can go back to his family and explain those experiences and like what it's all about, and it gives them a different perspective, kind of opens their eyes to it.
Yeah.
um
Touches a lot more people.
yeah, exactly. And like you said, it's also there's a stereotypical hunter,
Mhm.
and then there's the real deal where you're hiking in the backcountry miles and exhausted for an elk, or you're spending 20 days before deer season scouting and checking cameras and doing all this planning, and and or all summer long, whatever it may
Yeah.
be. I mean, there's a
lot of
lot
work.
that goes into it. There's a lot of work, yeah, and it honestly, it's a lifestyle. Like,
Yeah.
it really is, which could steer some people away from it.
Yeah.
Um, but you don't, I mean, you don't have to get that involved with it. But that's interesting you say that too, because I don't know, have you heard of Daniel Vitalis?
It rings a bell, but I don't know.
He has a show on Outdoor Channel called Wild
Okay.
Fed. He's
Oh, I've
based
heard
out
of
of
that.
Maine, yeah.
I've heard of that. Yeah.
And he was the same way. He didn't get into hunting till he was in his 30s. And he had the same experience when he was younger, just like yourself.
Oh, great.
And I'm close friends with him, and
Oh,
it
nice.
was interesting hearing that
Mhm.
as well. And like, that's something I've never really thought about, because I've always had people in my circle that are into it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
nowadays I feel like being on the outside and like trying to understand those people and then show them why
Yeah.
it's good, not
Mhm.
not a bad thing,
Mhm.
is super important.
I mean, just going with hunting with your mom on Mother's Day, I'm like, I got a little tear
Yeah,
on
it's
that.
like,
I'm like, that's so beautiful. That's so special.
and she's, I mean, she's into the outdoors too, and
Mhm.
I think it helps, like, my grandfather introduced her to it. But
Mhm.
I mean, my aunt, my mom's sister, is not into it whatsoever. She was vegan for a while, and she's still not totally fine with eating wild game. She'll get there, and we're working on it. Um, but yeah, and like, it's really just like who you're around and the experiences you have out there. Like that experience my mom had, how could you not
Mhm.
be involved with it? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, seeing that Tom and how beautiful he was, and just the color of his feathers,
Mhm.
and everything, and the sounds, and like
Mhm.
the sunrise, and the woods waking up,
Yeah.
and then him coming in like that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Like,
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
is.
so we could have kept the gun in the truck
Mhm.
for all I
Yeah.
care.
Yeah.
But we harvest that animal so we can eat it.
Right.
And that's a huge piece for me. In past years, I've harvested a couple deer,
Mhm.
and I've really only ate them myself. And, my family members will eat some of it, but they always forget it's in the freezer, I guess. But this past year, my girlfriend's going to college up in Farmington, and she has 3 roommates, and they try not to buy dinner every night. And so they'll cook at their apartment, and I have gone through so much wild game.
Yeah, awesome.
They all eat it.
Great.
And yeah, and
Great.
they were never against it before. They never really were introduced to it,
Mhm.
but they realize how amazing it is. And also the fact that, they don't have to go buy something that they don't know where it came from.
Mhm.
And that can kind of be my gift,
Yeah,
when we do
a
dinners.
little bit of knowledge in a way.
Yeah, and like,
True.
yeah,
Our culture is so disconnected from
totally.
where food really comes from, and it sickens me
100%.
in a way how people will easily chastise hunting
Yep.
and killing as this like torturous, evil thing. I could never hurt an animal, but like you'll still eat meat.
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah,
where it
that's
comes from.
yeah, I have trouble with that
Reality of
one.
like factory farming animals and how their lives are filled with so much suffering, and what a
Mhm.
wild animal's life is like. And for a hunter to have a clean shot on an animal, it really is a graceful kill in a way.
Yeah.
And that if an animal isn't going to be killed by a hunter, how are they going to die?
Yeah.
Well, they're going to be killed by predators,
Which is
chased down by
brutal.
wolves and
Just
torn
brutal.
apart,
Yeah.
or slowly killed by disease,
Yep.
or famine from not having enough to eat, or freezing to death over a cold winter
It's
or
true.
something. It's like their lives are torturous, and to be killed by a gun or a bow by a hunter can usually be like a really safe and clean way for
Yeah.
an animal to go, and that's
And
beautiful.
the conservation of it, like you said, not having enough to eat. Part of that is, if there were too many animals, they'd destroy the vegetation for
Mhm,
themselves.
mhm, mhm.
They'd almost start, killing themselves.
Yeah, totally.
I don't know if that's the right way to word it,
I
but
know what you mean. Yeah.
yeah, but
Yeah, most fish and game departments are monitoring herd populations.
Exactly.
And usually wilderness areas have like a certain amount of density that can
Handle.
habitat that many
Exactly.
animals. And if they become too densely populated, it's bad for not only the environment, but the herd health as well.
Exactly.
In large part, it's due to, humans encroaching on their environment, but also killing off all their predators.
Mhm.
Because naturally, in a place like Maine, there used to be wolves.
Right.
There used to be all kinds of other large predators, mountain lions, and those kinds of things that would like kill off the extra moose and extra deer.
Yeah.
And now we don't have them. And so what happens is people die in car accidents hitting moose that are walking across the road.
Exactly. And that's where conservation comes in, and hunters are the biggest piece to that.
Mhm.
And harvesting, the right amount of animals to keep that balance.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which, you know, I'm not an expert at that, so
Yeah, I don't know the numbers,
it's
but
yeah, but it's
important.
it's all part of it. Yeah, exactly. Um,
Tell me about some of your favorite hunts. I know you harvested a big bull moose. Was it last
yes,
season?
two seasons ago.
Seasons ago?
Yeah, 2024. Yep.
2024. Okay.
So, yeah, my first time drawing a moose permit,
Mhm.
which was, that in Maine, that's
Very
like,
lucky.
yeah, in Maine, that's the pinnacle hunt as
Mhm.
the main moose hunt. And yeah, it's like a tradition here. I mean, they have a moose lottery where thousands of people attend and just sit there and wait to hear their name.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
I put my application in this year. I'm holding my
good
breath.
deal.
Waiting
Yeah.
for the lottery.
Awesome. It's coming up. But yeah, so that, I've always lived in Maine and always traveled up to northern Maine, seen a lot of moose. And so that was something that as a hunter and an outdoorsman, I really wanted to be able to have the opportunity to do a hunt like
Mhm.
that.
Mhm.
And so yeah, I got drawn for a zone 2 bull tag. And once I found out the news, which was in late June, it's
Yeah.
like, I wanted to commit to that,
Yeah, of course.
to make sure I could be successful in a way.
Mhm.
And so I started doing some scouting in the summertime, and I have a friend of mine who lives up north, and he knows that area well, and he was huge for just kind of showing me before OMM. I didn't have experience moose hunting.
Oh, really?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, you're a total newbie.
Total newbie.
Interesting.
Any hunt I'd been on before, it was like, what they call a
Turkey,
heater
deer.
hunt, or a moose hunt with a relative that, and they didn't do it the way that I wanted to, where, like we experienced that OMM,
Yeah.
getting out of the
Yeah.
truck, locating
Explain
the bulls.
because I think that's funny. That's
Yeah.
something I knew of, but a phrase I'd never heard of before.
Yeah.
So explain the heater.
Heater hunting, it's a very main phrase.
Very Maine.
Basically, it's a bunch of hunters riding around in their truck, hunting from the truck. We have a bunch of paper company roads
Mhm.
that are unpaved up in northern Maine,
Mhm.
and you're allowed to hunt off of them.
Mhm.
And so a lot of guys and moose spend time in clear cuts. A lot of them you can see right off the road.
Mhm.
And so they'll just drive around in the truck and glass a clear cut.
Yeah.
And if they see a moose, they'll just hop out of the cab of the truck,
Boom.
and that's it. That's
Don't have
it.
to turn the heat off.
Yeah, and then, they still gotta get it back to the truck somehow.
Yeah, yeah. It's
But
definitely like the most comfortable, easy,
yeah,
lazy.
it is lazy in
It
a
does
way,
work.
but it
does work.
works.
Yeah.
And also moose have become more challenging to hunt from the road.
Mhm.
They've kind of pushed back into the
Yeah, they're learning.
wilderness.
They're evolving.
Yes, exactly. They're adapting to that and evolving. But yeah, so I wanted to do something different. I wanted to do a more backcountry hunt. Um, and and spend a lot of time hiking deep into the woods, locating moose that you couldn't
Yeah.
see off the beaten path.
Yeah.
And so I got a canvas tent for the hunt, and myself and a friend of mine, Colby Kessler, who was going to film the hunt, we both stayed in that, or he did film the hunt. And so we did some scouting in the summertime, found some good areas, put a few cameras out, got back got back in there a couple of days before the season, didn't really have anything on the cameras. And so we just made a game plan for opening day. The hunt's a week long, so it goes Monday to Saturday. And so Monday we got out into these hardwoods. It was just this hardwoods, wide open hardwoods, off the dirt road, off the beaten path, and we actually ran into a lot of moose, but they were all in super thick, dense areas, and so
Interesting.
we could, yeah, and it was interesting because an animal of that size, you wouldn't think would be able to.
It is some tight trees.
It's
Yeah.
crazy, and
Yeah.
so we never got we could never identify if one was a big bull or if it was a cow. So we struggled with that. And we kind of had the same thing happen on Tuesday. And it's funny to circle back to heater hunting. We were actually, and this is all on film, we were heading back to camp Tuesday evening to make a game plan for Wednesday. It just got done raining. We were a little discouraged, but it was only day 2. But you have such a limited time where it's hard to stay positive that, and so we were heading back.
Is another 15%.
Exactly. Yeah. And so we were heading back to camp, and I glanced over to clear cut off to my right before we got onto the camp road, and there was a bull standing out there, handsome bull, like tall. You could just see his white paddles, and it was just before sunset,
Amazing.
and he had a cow with him, and you can't you can't not you not take an opportunity
of course.
when it presents itself.
Yeah.
And so I hopped out of the truck, and the way we did it was so smooth. Like Colby got out of the truck, he got the camera rolling, got on him,
Sweet.
and I got my gun safely out of the truck, loaded, and then I got around it and got ready to shoot. And he got the camera rolling, and it all, we did it in seconds, and I shot, and that bull just dropped.
Awesome.
Right there, 120 yards, he just dropped. And so, yeah, and a lot of times they'll drop, and if you make a spine shot, and they can actually get back up from that. So you got to be careful. And so we started moving in, approaching the bull, and he stayed down, and I put another shot in him to finish him off. It was ethical, and I don't like to see an animal suffer, like we just talked about. Try and make a lethal shot.
Right.
So yeah, we got up to him. It was a lot bigger than I would have ever expected. It was a 52-inch bull, and just a
50
stud.
inches means a point.
Yep, furthest point.
4.5 feet.
Yeah, yeah. So pretty amazing. Actually, Monday morning we hunted a smaller bull that we found on Sunday, and there were other hunters above us that actually shot him. We were standing there hearing this all happen. We heard him calling, and then 5 gunshots. And
wow.
And so we went and congratulated them, and it was a woman that had shot him. So
awesome.
That was cool. But yeah, so, and of course I was grateful that, that all happened, and I had this other encounter. But yeah, so I harvested that bull. It was off the dirt road, which is funny because my goal was to not heater hunt.
Stock.
Yeah.
And be deep in the woods.
But we did all the, exactly. But we did all the hard work before, which led up to it.
So you still earned it.
So I hope that's kind of
karma.
Exactly. So that's kind of how I think about it. And and because of that, I also wanted to pack a bull out. A lot of people, if they're right off the road, they'll drag them out. Because weighing an animal is a big deal in Maine, and they will literally take an entire 900-pound bull moose and hang him up they call it a game pole. When I tell people that from out of state, they're shocked.
I didn't understand it at all. Coming from Colorado, I didn't understand.
It's like you get a game pole that's 20 feet tall. It's telephone poles. It's literally telephone poles, and you're hanging this animal.
How and why?
And it's like, and people go
packing quarters 5 miles.
Exactly. And they'll share, like they'll be like, I just shot this 950-pound bull. And everyone's like, that's amazing. Mine was 7, whatever. And it's like, it's crazy to me now, but that was just, that was normal. It's still, it still is.
It's not a completely bygone era, but I feel like it's kind of an old guard.
It is.
Still measures things up in that way. And deer might not ever end.
Yeah.
So many hunters in Maine just they don't
Totally wait.
put things in the woods.
Yeah.
It's all about a little bit of the ego.
Yeah, there's a lot of ego involved. Yeah,
Yeah.
you will get that in the hunting
Yeah,
industry,
it's
but
still a sport at the end of the
totally,
day, and the
yeah.
competition will always be
Oh,
there.
yeah, and that's like in Maine, we got the biggest buck in Maine patch, which
Yeah.
if you kill a buck over 200 pounds, you get a patch,
Yeah.
you get your name on the wall, whatever it is. And I've yet to do that, but and it's not. I mean, it's a goal of mine, but
Get you a big butt.
yeah, exactly. And I don't think that tradition will ever go away. But the moose thing, I do agree with you. And I
Mhm.
think part of that is like, you know, as hunters now, when it comes to ethics and the way it's perceived, like dragging an animal out of the woods and, you know, messing up their fur. And it's just not as humane as just,
Yeah.
you know, packing them all up,
Yeah.
getting that meat um away from the hide
Mhm.
that's literally cooking it the moments after you shoot it.
Yeah.
And so because I wanted to do that, because I planned on having a backcountry hunt and having to pack them out,
Yeah.
we did it anyways.
Good.
And
Quartered in the field.
yeah, and we had friends and family there that were up there bird hunting, and they joined us, and they were like, "So we gonna drag this thing out?" And I was like, "No, I'm quartering it." And so we were in the
Awesome.
dark. We had like 10 headlamps,
Yeah.
and it was freezing rain, and
Yeah.
there were like 5 of us with knives, just
Yeah.
you know, skinning this bull.
Yeah.
And
Done.
yeah, and it was late at night. I like lost my voice at that point because I was just
Food and all.
had so much,
Yeah.
you know, and I was pretty exhausted. But yeah, we got them all packed out, so we did the deed, and
Mhm.
and yeah, and
Great memory, man.
so yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah. It is.
Spent the next day missing partridge and my camera guy hitting them all, but yeah, so it was
After a
super
big
cool.
bull, who cares what happens after?
Yeah, exactly. I wasn't too phased.
There is no consolation.
Yeah, I wasn't too phased.
Yeah.
And with that, you know, from a bull of that size, you get 300 plus
Yeah.
pounds of meat, which
Years
is
later, you have any left?
amazing. Yeah, some burger, a lot of
Yeah, you
burger.
got some-
Made a lot of burger. I'm a
Yeah, of course.
big burger guy.
Yeah.
It's just easy to do stuff
Yeah.
with.
Good
So
quality.
a lot of burger. But yeah, like I said, with having more people eating that meat now, it's like I can actually see my freezer, the meat in it,
Yeah,
the levels go down.
dark,
Yeah.
like
Yes.
like if the apocalypse comes,
Yeah,
World War
might be
III,
screwed.
gonna stock this freezer back up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome,
That's
man.
why I got to do so much turkey hunting.
Well, I saw on, I think it was on your YouTube page,
Yep.
you had a proverb on there, and I just like to ask people about
Yeah.
quotes or a piece of advice.
Yep.
Tell me about that proverb, what it is, and what it means to you.
Yeah, so it's a quote from it's a verse from the Bible. And I should read it because I always screw it up.
Yeah,
But
please do.
and then I'll explain.
He's good at
what it
proverbs on
means.
speed dial.
Yeah. Proverbs 3, 5 through 6. Let's see.
I like this quote in the Bible here.
Yeah, and I wanna get to one that's kinda, you know. So right here, it's trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, submit to him and he will make your path straight.
Mm.
So I'm a pretty religious guy. I've always been Christian. And you know, I think being outside, it's just that's God's gift to
Yeah.
us. Like it's hard to not have a little piece of you that's like
Yeah.
someone created this when you're experiencing that.
If you're not in a church, that is church.
Exactly. Yeah. And so actually I stole this verse from I didn't steal it from him, but I don't know if you've ever heard of Billy Moles.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Someone that look like him.
yeah, yes, you do. So he uses this verse a lot.
Okay, great.
And it just resonated with me. And so, you know, why not promote it some more?
Yeah.
And so yeah, I mean basically it's just describing to trust in the Lord and he will create the right path to follow.
And giving you direction.
Yeah, exactly. And so when it comes to hunting, and a lot of that for me is, you know, just trusting in the process and having that spiritual guidance with it all.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's and I, you know, I don't have the deepest meaning for it, but it's just something that stuck with me. And
Yeah.
yeah,
I like it a lot, actually.
thank you.
I think it aligns with pursuit. It aligns
Yeah,
with like direction and meaning. And there's so much to that, trusting the process
yep,
as well. And, faith is like the belief in something in the absence of backs,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And it's like the higher power, the thing that you can't tangibly touch or see
Hmm.
or smell, and you can't physically feel it, but
Right.
there's something else there.
And
And that divine
yes,
wisdom is a really powerful element
it
that
is.
I also feel every time I'm outdoors. I've said for decades that like the outdoors and mountains truly are my church.
Yeah.
And people who aren't spiritual can't help but like go out into the world, into the wilds, into the wilderness, and experience the epic beauty that is Mother Nature and planet Earth, and have a little bit of that like spiritual power.
Exactly. And they don't even realize it, but
Yeah,
it's happening. It's
yeah,
there.
yeah,
Yeah, and it's true too. And also like those moments like with my mom the other morning, like something like that, there's a million different ways the outcome of how that hunt could have gone.
mhm,
And I just feel like, God's there
mhm,
and
mhm.
has that, he already has that that destiny or
Yeah,
or
showing you that moment.
exactly.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah, so that was really neat. And just yeah, anything with the outdoors,
Yeah,
I think
that's great.
about it a lot. So
Well,
yeah,
Mike, I really like what you're doing, man.
thank you.
So
Yeah, thanks for having me
conversation.
on.
Thanks.
This was great.
Absolutely. Look
Yeah.
forward to chatting with